everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And of course, I also try to help you, learn something about wines. That's important too. Hope you're enjoying the programs. I just shot a Vino Verde episode, so that's exciting. I did that outside. I can't do it outside, it's tough. I need a cameraman. I need someone that can do the work because it was hard for me to see the zoom up on the label. Nice interview with David Baverstock from Esparero and Merces in Portugal. It was fun to see him again and to do that interview at Vinny's Restaurant in Friday Harbor. Excellent venue for doing that sort of thing. Great food, great wines. It was fun. It was fun. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Beautiful day outside. I've been golfing a lot. It's one of my weaknesses. I would, not a weakness, but I really like to golf. And I've been doing that a lot lately. Yeah, you would think you'd see improvement. It's not getting any better. That's why I love the game. It's always tough to get better at it. I don't know what's going on, Cavaliers, Warriors in the finals. Kind of excited about that. Hope the Warriors kick their butts. Just saying. I hope they do. I'm continuing now. I haven't done it for a while. I've been kind of laying back on it, but now I'm going to hit it again, is promoting Australian wines. As we've said many times, wine sales, or Australian wine sales, have kind of tanked. In particular, the mid-tier price range from, let's say, $15 to $30 to $40. Because a lot of people just, they got used to Yellowtail, they got used to Linnemans, they got used to Jacob's Creek, Alice White, Black Opal, all those labels pumping out this really inexpensive juice. Yeah, they're great introductory wines, but people just got tired of them. They kept drinking the same thing over and over again and just got tired of them. And when somebody like Torbreck or Penfolds or, Henschke or some of those guys would come out with these wines, all of a sudden they didn't look at them anymore. Now, it's very difficult to sell a bottle of Penfolds, whereas, 7 years ago, man, that stuff just flew out the door. We're going to focus on a brand that I find to be very, very consistently good quality, and they're in that price range that we're talking about, $15 to $30. Let's say 15 to 40. Actually, we're going 18 to 40. But the fun thing about Torbreck is that, again, they were part of that kind of that craze, when Penfolds 389, 707 were selling like crazy, and Henschke, and we had Molly Duker wines just flying out the door. You couldn't keep them on the shelf. And now everything's just so quiet. But the thing about that, the problem that I have with that is the quality is still there. It's still really good wine, and the prices aren't that bad, especially when you're talking about people spending a ton of money on, California blends like Magnificant by Franciscan and Etude, and all of those different Etude Meritage and different blends that are demanding a ton of money. You get Papillon from Orange Swift, expensive wines, and yet they sell really well. So I'm just trying to get people back on the Australian wagon. Get them. I've heard through the grapevine, no pun intended, that Australian wines are beginning to take off, especially higher end. But I'm not so concerned about the high end stuff. I'm more concerned about that tier. I'm talking about, $20 to $40 to $50 range. A lot of people have just given up on them, and now they're going to California, they're going to Washington looking for that price range. So, I'm concerned about it because, Australia pumps out some good juice, baby. I mean, some good stuff. So we're going to get started with the Torbreck Barossa Valley 2012 WoodCutter's Semillon. Now, I have to tell you, I can remember a time when in Washington State, Semillon, you could get Semillon from many different wineries. Now you don't see it anymore. Remember Semillon Sauv Blanc? Huge play. Now it's just kind of disappeared. Semillon's a great wine. We all know that Chateau Yquem is predominantly Semillon, Botrytis Semillon, one of the greatest dessert wines in the world. Just gives me the shivers. I've tasted it before. It's fantastic. Semillon is a big play in Bordeaux, but not so much anymore in the United States. But Australia is known for Semillon. They do a good job with it. So I'm excited to try this WoodCutter Semillon 2012. This rolls in at $22. Let's get a look at the label. So like I said, Torbreck, Barossa Valley, you know, they used to be Barossa Valley was big time, big fruit bomb wines. And you know, they've actually kind of, you know, changed up a little bit. I find a lot of the Barossa Valley, South Australian wines to have more balance. But you know, what's wrong with fruit bomb? You know, Zinfandels are fruit bombs many times. You know, sometimes we just crave that. Let's see what we get on the nose. So right off the bat, I get a little bit of petroleum, that kind of rubber boot thing going on. Interesting melon notes. I have to say this is slightly challenged. I got it at the good temperature. You know, like I said many times, I try to taste the wines at the temperature I think you're going to taste them. And we know a lot of you drink them at about 48 to 50 degrees. So that's where I try to keep it. A little bit of a nuttiness to it, which I find intriguing. Almost like rubber boot meets walnuts, meets melons, meets a little bit of white flowers. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice mouthfeel, good weight, good acid, but there's a nice roundness to it. I'm getting a lot of melon notes. I get that kind of walnut character coming through on the palate. I would say a little bit of grass, but not a lot. It has just a touch of grass notes, like fresh cut grass. A little bit of lime action coming through, which makes it even more interesting. This is a fairly complex white wine. And the finish just keeps going. That melon white flower thing keeps going on and on. This is a nice white, kind of a crossover, not Sauvignon Blanc, not Pinot Gris, not Chardonnay. I'd give it a cross between Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot Blanc, kind of Chardonnay-ish sort of thing going on. This is a great bottle of wine. I mean, for a summer day, this would be great with any shellfish. It would be great with sushi. It would be great with a salad. It would be really good with halibut if you didn't overspice. Well, it's just and it has a little minerality, which I'm finding quite intriguing. It actually kind of hangs on. That kind of just a hint of that rubber boot kind of right on the backside of the finish. I'm not sure that everyone would get that. So many times flavors and smells are associated with our memories and the things that we smell and things that we taste. So sometimes when you hear a wine guy say stuff, just remember, you know, for some reason I always wore those red rubber boots with the band around them. And a lot of times just that kind of smell that they had just lingers with me. It's a memory that I have, and that's what I get. A lot of wine critics will say, you know, petrol. But, you know, I don't always think that does it justice, that diesel, because, you know, diesel to me has that kind of, you know, that kind of more chemical thing going on. And I just don't get that. I get that more in the rubber boot action, kind of rubber band sort of thing going on. Anyway, $22. You might say, well, that's a lot to pay for a Semillon. Well, think about it. How many of you go out and blow out 23 bones for a La Crema, or $40 for a Rombauer, or Cloudy Bay for $30, or, you know, you get the picture. You know, there's a lot of wines that we're willing to spring on that, but yet this is a beautiful Semillon. I'm going to go A- on this. It's a beautiful wine, $22. It's well worth that price. And if you're just having a couple over, you and your wife, your sweetheart are hanging out, and you want to do some oysters, you want to do some mussels, buy a bottle of Torbreck Semillon, and I'm telling you, it's going to rock your night. A-. Let's move on. So, Torbreck has several different levels of red wines. And this falls into their kind of, I would say mid-tier, not high-end, but you know, it's going up there a little bit. This is Torbreck, the Steading 2010 Barossa Valley. And this is a blend of 63% Grenache, 19% Shiraz, and 18% Mataro, which is also known as Mourvedre, which is also known as Monastrell in Spain. And according to Jansen Robinson's research, Monastrell was the original name of the grape, but most of us know it as Mourvedre, and very popular in the Rhone Valley. Anyway, that's what Mataro is, just so you know. That's why wine can be confusing, because you know there isn't a universality of name calling. Tempranillo, ridiculous amount. Tempranillo is called Aragonas in the south of Portugal, and Tinto Roriz up in the north. Go figure. That's what makes wine, you know, sometimes people get a little bit confused, and we totally understand that. But that's what we're here for. There's a label. This rolls in at $36. Right? Let's see what we get on the nose. Right off the bat, I get licorice, tobacco, strawberries, and currants. I mean, it's just big on the nose. I mean, it is huge. Just a touch of eucalyptus, which is not uncommon for Australian wines. I'm just going to real quickly. 15% alcohol, so it's not shy on the alcohol. Doesn't surprise me. Barossa is a very hot region in Australia. Warm-wise. Not so hot anymore, sales-wise. No, just the licorice is unbelievable. I love the licorice notes on the nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Pretty heady on the palate. I would not call it jammy though, and this is a, you know, this is, we might be mincing words here, but jammy is where it's kind of gets to the flabby side. You know, this has good acid, good structure. The tobacco and currants and strawberry notes all come through big time. Licorice big time. I'm even getting a little bit, just a little bit of earth, which I find very interesting, right on the backside. Like you know, just shoveled a little bit of really good dirt. You know, it's not that grimy stuff in your driveway. This is good dirt. You poured it a little bit in the wine, blended it together. It is coming through big time. Nice little grip on the finish. You know it has alcohol in it. There's no doubt about it. They couldn't get it this intense without that alcohol. So that's not a problem for me. I don't have a problem with high alcohol wines as long as they're well structured. I don't want a wine that just, you know, just blows out my nasal cavity. Yeah, nasal cavity. You know, and burns your eyeballs because there's so much heat there. And, you know, we just had, not too long ago, we had a really expensive, about $2.50 bottle of wine. And it just did not taste good at all. You got that kind of graham cracker, plushy, gooey stuff going on. This does not have that. This is a beautiful wine, the Steading. And, you know, I'm surprised there isn't as much spice. Because usually Grenache, and at least in most of my experience, will give you a little bit of spice action. Not so much on this one, but boy, that tobacco licorice, I mean black licorice, but not candied, more than natural licorice. The dirt factor that comes through on this, the earth factor that comes through on the back end. This is a well-balanced, very good wine. And the nice thing about this wine is if you're barbecuing, you're grilling some New Yorks out there, you're having some special company over, or maybe it's just you. Maybe it's just you, and you want to spoil yourself. You don't mind spending $36 on a bottle of wine. Go out and buy some Torbreck Steading. Enjoy that really good New York rib steak, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're grilling some hamburgers. Maybe this is a beautiful wine for those things. And let me tell you, this will complement one of my barbecues this summer for sure. Even a little bit of blueberry is what I get on the mid palate. Very interesting, very good wine, very well worth $36. I'm going to go B+, A- on that wine. I really like it. It's really good. Let's move on to the next one. What kind of put Australia on the map in the early years when it really started getting big was Shiraz, better known as Syrah. Same grape. Same grape. Actually, Australia, I think South Africa originally kind of brought on the name Shiraz for Syrah. But it is Syrah. And, you know, it's probably appropriate that Australia calls it Shiraz. It definitely, as far as flavor profile compared to, let's say, Northern Rhone, Southern Rhone, Washington State, it has a little different flavor profile. This is a Torbreck 2012 WoodCutters Shiraz, Barossa Valley. This rolls in at $18. Okay. You say, now why is he pouring it after the more expensive wine? Well, Syrah tends to be a little bigger than Grenache, so I took a chance. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just rolling the dice, baby. 5 on the yo to get it right. Let's see what we get on the nose. So this has a lot of like bark. I get a ton of bark on the nose. Currants for sure. There's an interesting, it's like eucalyptus meets blueberry on the back end of this. It's burning. It's burning the nose hairs a little bit. Get a little bit of like red raspberry coming through, which I really like a lot. Like I said, nose hairs are getting a little burn on them. Let's see what we get on the palate. So this falls into the more fruit-forward category, but I have to tell you there is good structure on this wine, and definitely black pepper on the finish. I'm getting black pepper all day on the finish. It's got some heat on it. It's got some heat. It's got some bourbon action going on, but like I said, there's nice fresh acidity on the finish, which I really appreciate, which kind of balances it out kind of nicely. Tobacco, currants all day on the backside. Get a little bit of a kind of black plum thing going on. That black pepper, white pepper thing really hits on the backside, which I would have expected out of the Grenache, but I'm getting it out of the Shiraz big time. This might be too fruit forward for some people. Mr. Grout, I know if you're watching, you're the one. Dick, baby. You're the one who doesn't like these hot wines. You know, it's warm in the throat a little bit. Now, I don't consider that a flaw as long as I get that kind of fresh, kind of tobacco-y, earthy finish on it, which I really like. Yeah, the bark note, yes, the bark notes come through. It's like somebody soaked bark in really ripe currant juice with a little, a little bit of plum action going on there. You know, it's been a while since I did this video. I'm kind of excited. I don't know what's going on. Whether it's just it's busy. I lost my wine assistant, so now we're looking for a wine assistant. I'm starting to get some nibbles on that, which I'm excited about. So I've been working 6 days a week, which is fine. I don't really care. My wife, we need to spend some time together on the weekends, so I'm looking forward to getting an assistant. Anyway, excited about this. Really like this Shiraz. Think it's a little hot. But there's balance there. I think this could age because of that balance, because that alcohol will calm down just a little bit. I get a little petrol too on the finish, which I like. A little bit of this would be petrol, a little bit of rubber boot, just sneaking in, but barely. Give that nice freshness on the finish. I like it. For what it is, it's a B+ wine for sure. Not going to go A- just because of the heat, but I really like it. Personally, this would be a great wine for me if I was kind of, you know, maybe not wanting to do a Zin, but I want to do something else. I would go there. I would go there. Now, how many of you, and you can comment if you want, how many of you have really craved kind of a hedonistic, fruit-forward wine and were afraid to tell somebody that? Or what do you go to when you kind of want to spoil yourself? You know, some of us, you know, we go for the ice cream when we're feeling like sweet tooth, or we go for the jelly beans, or we go for the chocolate cake. We go for something when we have a sweet tooth. What do you go for in wine? What's your choice? What is your choice when you want to go hedonistic on wine? I would go WoodCutter Shiraz for sure if I didn't go Zinfandel. Thanks for watching, and remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be willing to try new things. Be willing to go Australia. Don't let people sway you. Don't ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if you do that together, we can take the snob out of wine.